Hello. Now I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the most common progressions that you're going to see in music. One of them is the 2-5-1, and the other one is the blues progression. So, 2-5-1, you see it a lot in jazz. It's basically like one of the cornerstones of jazz, but you also hear it a lot in a lot of other styles of music as well. Blues progression, obviously blues. Also, you hear it a lot in rock and pop. And the 2-5 also you'll see in rock and pop from time to time. So if you can master these two progressions, I think that'll give you that'll give you a real advantage when you go to learn songs, because this makes up a large percentage of the music that you will encounter. So we'll talk a little bit about theory. So what's happening first with the 2-5-1 is that you're starting on the second degree, and then you go to the fifth degree, and then you go back to the 1. So I'm talking about degrees. I'm talking about scale degrees, right? So 2-5-1, the second note of the scale, the major scale, and then the fifth note of the major scale, and then the 1, the root note, fundamental tonic of the major scale. This is what you're looking to check out. And then your chords are built on top of that. So most chords are going to be 1, 3, 5, 7. That's the order of most chords. So in the case of 2-5-1, it's going to be 2 minor. So that's the first chord. It's going to be 2 minor, and then your 5 chord is going to be 5 dominant. Dominant means flat 7. And then you're gonna do the 1 chord. The 1 chord. Often they have the major 7. Sometimes they don't. Yeah, it just depends on the song. And for the reason you have this, right, is because these are you're staying in the key of the major scale. So, for instance, if you're talking about 2 minor is in the key of the 1. So all of our modes, if you heard of modes, I don't want to get too complicated because it's not necessarily going to be useful immediately. But our modes are basically the same key but starting on a different note. So in we're talking about 2-5-1. That means you're gonna stay in the same key the whole time. But you're just going to change the note that you start on. This is super helpful when you're looking at chord changes and there's all these chords, right? These scary chords, right? And if you notice the 2-5-1, you're going to be like, oh, well, that's actually just all in the same key. You see these 2-5-1, you're like, oh, okay, 2-5-1. So that's nothing to worry about. You've got that. It's just going to be all in the same key. So let's do a few of these. I'm going to play through them with the backing track, and then you can kind of hear how they're going. To memorize these progressions, I think the best thing to do is to do it in arpeggios, to just basically outline the chords. So I'm going to do it with the backing track, and I'm just going to play the arpeggio in all 12 keys. So here we go. Concert C major. Now we're going to go to concert D flat major. Okay, now we're going to go to concert D. Now we're going to go to concert E flat. Now we're going to go to concert E. Now we're going to go to concert F. Now to G flat, F sharp. We're going to go to concert G. Going to do concert A flat. Going to do concert A. Going to do concert B flat. Going to do concert B. And you'll notice I'm going up. So I'm doing all of these up. I'm starting on the root and I'm going up. I'm doing 1, 3, 5. So for instance, if we're in the key of C, that's D minor, G7, and C major. Major 7, depending on the song you're playing. I'm not including major 7 in these exercises to make it a little more clear cut. The notes in there, if you're in C, for instance, would be D, F, A, and C. So that's D minor, right? It's a D minor triad. And then G7, G, B, D, F, right? And then C triad, C, E, G, right? So the first two are 7 chords. I'm leaving off the major 7 on the last one, but you also will see it a lot. So now I want us to go through and I want us to flip it. So you'll notice arpeggio is really a great way to learn how to play not only to play the progressions, but also to memorize it. So now we're going to flip it. We're going to go the other way. So we're going to go down. We're going to go from the top down. And I'll give you a couple different examples of this. Let's try concert C. Try concert D flat. Try concert D. Now we'll do concert E flat. Concert E. We'll try concert F. Concert G flat, F sharp. Concert G. Concert A flat. Concert A. Concert B flat. concert B. Great. So I did a couple different things, but mainly, depending on the range of the instrument, I would change the octave as well. But I'm basically starting from the top note. I'm starting from the 7th and going down. That was the basic premise for the way that I just did it right there. You want to be able to do both ways, and then you want to be able to interchange it. Maybe you want to do one up, you want to do one down. You want to be able to go either way. If you can get a hold of this, you can make a solo just with this, to be perfectly honest. So this is super useful. The app I'm using is called iRealBook Pro. You can get it on the App Store. It's super awesome. And you can do everything with this app without even having to look for anything else. It's great. So that is the basis of how to play over 2-5-1.